Hello and welcome to the match as Real Madrid are preparing for their first away game of the season in the league, but not too far for Los Blancos to travel. It's a trip to the Spanish suburbs to take on Khetafe. With me to look ahead to that game is Tim Stannard from 442 magazine. Tim, welcome back.
Thank you very much. Nice to be back.
Another season is upon us.
Yes, we're here already. It's a little bit earlier than normal, so basically we have matches finishing at 1 in the morning, being played at 38 degrees Celsius. It can only be Spanish football, but it is nice to be back.
Let's take a look at that Khetafe game. It's a match that Madrid usually win, but it's not always straightforward, is it?
Well, that's right. They've won the last 3 in a row, but Khetafe make it very, very difficult. It's one of those games which doesn't look as glamorous as last week's fixture against Valencia at the Bernabeu, but it's one of those games which basically won Real Madrid the league last season. Those 1-0, 2-0 wins away from home where the home team are well organised and make it tight. So this is a critical match for Real Madrid if they really want to get the league off to a good start.
More on that Khetafe game in just a moment, but let's reflect a little bit on Thursday's Supercopa against Barcelona. It finished 3-2 to the Catalans, but it's only the first leg, and lots of positives for Madrid to take out.
I mean, there's a huge amount of positives, especially for Madrid and for both teams. The match is very much open as well. And Jose Mourinho said during the summer, these are the 2 best teams in Europe, and without a doubt. And that was another fantastic game of football. We have some of the best players in the world, you know, Ronaldo, Messi, and once again it delivered. First half, Real Madrid struggled to get into the game and Barca really pressured, but they held on in there, and that's what they had to do at the Camp Nou. But in the second half, they started pushing and, of course, got that lead. And then it was goals going in and out. But very important, though, at the end at 3-1. It might have been tricky for Real Madrid, I think, to get that result at the Santiago Bernabeu. But that terrible, terrible mistake from Victor Valdés, who's been, you could say, crucified in some of the Barcelona papers, makes it nice and open. And I think we're going to see another similar scoreline at the Santiago Bernabeu. And, of course, Real Madrid will be hoping it's in their favour. But what a fantastic match we've got in store for us.
Absolutely. Well, let's hear from Real Madrid manager Jose Mourinho, who spoke after that game.
El primer tiempo no me ha gustado. Algunas veces tú haces un juego que no quieres hacer. El adversario por veces tiene mérito en cambiar el plan de juego que tú tienes. Y el Barcelona en primer tiempo ha tenido ese mérito de jugar muy bien, de nos apretar muchísimo, de no nos ha dejado salir muchas veces con peligro, y ese primer tiempo pues nos limitamos a controlar espacio defensivo, a jugar defensivamente bien, pero sin ningún tipo de salida. Primer tiempo Barcelona superior, y podría parecer que era ese nuestro plan, de llegar y de hacer un partido defensivo. No lo era, y después lo hemos demostrado en el segundo tiempo, que desde el primer minuto del segundo tiempo hemos conseguido hacer un juego completamente diferente.
Well, let's have a quick word about Cristiano Ronaldo, because he scored in that match against Barcelona. The 4th consecutive match at the Camp Nou he's scored in, the first Real Madrid player to do that, and people say he doesn't deliver in the big games.
He absolutely does at the moment. That was, you could say it was Ronaldo what won the league last season in that brilliant Camp Nou match. And once again, by his standards, he had a fairly quiet start to the season. He says he's just 10 days away from really being at top form and timing it for what's going to be a very long campaign. But popped up when was needed to give Real Madrid that lead and really stun Barcelona. And of course, he was the one that won the Copa del Rey 2 seasons ago, won them the league, put them in this tie as well, got them off to a great start. So he's having a fantastic record at the Camp Nou. I think they're a bit sick of him at the moment.
Certainly is. I would be if I was a Barcelona player. Let's move on then to look at the Khetafe game a little bit more. Last weekend, Real Madrid had a few injury scares, didn't they? Iker Casillas and Pepe picking up nasty head injuries in the game against Valencia. It's always worrying to see players with head injuries, isn't it?
It was very worrying indeed. Iker Casillas basically sort of bounced back fairly quickly, although he says his memory isn't too clear of that one. But it was very, very nasty one for Pepe. Pepe at half-time basically started vomiting, and they said, I don't actually know who I am or where I am. But fortunately, he spent the night in hospital and he was discharged the next day. But of course, with head injuries, you've got to be very, very careful. And I don't think he's going to be, of course, he wasn't playing against Barcelona. I don't think we're going to see him against Sunday. Something like that. Football is of minor importance. It's all about getting Pepe back to fitness. He's a fantastic player, but as you said, very worrying. He'll want to be playing straight away, but there's plenty of other options. They've got Albiol, who played on Thursday. They have Varane. So it's not too much of a headache is the wrong expression to use on that one. But no, so it's a very, very good squad that Real Madrid do have at the moment. So one player being out is not really a problem. And as Mourinho has always wanted, 2 international world-class players for every position. I think he's got that.
OK, talking of the squad, talking of Sunday, let's take a look at who you think could be starting for Real Madrid at the Coliseum. Take us through your starting 11.
Absolutely. It's a tricky one to know, as always. I always manage to get spectacularly wrong. The league is the bread and butter, as Mourinho said. The Super Cup is a nice to have. So he'll be putting out a very strong side against Khetafe. He'll take some breaking down. I think we'll see Higuain coming in to start this League One as Benzema started the Super Cup game. Di Maria is struggling a little bit with knocks. They're being very careful with him because he missed quite a lot of the first season, but I think he's going to start this one. Callejon had a fairly quiet game. Khedira, Xabi Alonso, I thought Xabi Alonso was fantastic. Coentrao continuing at left-back. I thought he was Real Madrid's man of the match by a long way against Barcelona. I thought he was, especially in the first half, magnificent. Albiol continuing there. Maybe Varane will get a go, but he might want the consistency, and of course Casillas there as well. But it's going to be a match where they're going to have to be patient and keep plugging away at a tough ground.
So that's the Real Madrid 11. Let's take a quick look at who you think will be starting for Khetafe.
Well, Khetafe had not too many changes basically over the season, over the summer. They're still looking to do some moves in the last week. You'll see Lafita there, who's moved from Zaragoza. Trying not to say Queen Latifah or Queen Lafita, as I keep doing as well. Miku is pretty much their only goal scorer they've got. They're trying to move on.
He scored twice against Real Madrid last season.
He did. He's actually got a very good record against Madrid. He's not one of the fans' favourite for some reason. Diego Castro coming in on the right, but it's going to be a defence that's going to be hard to break down. They are dangerous on set pieces, so it was a 1-0 win last week. Remember that Sergio Ramos goal? It could be something quite similar against Khetafe this season. 1-0, 2-0 maybe for Real Madrid.
Yeah, it is always a tricky place to go. Let's take a look at some of the other fixtures that are happening in the Spanish top flight this weekend and get Tim's predictions. Sociedad against the Celta Vigo.
These are going spectacularly badly at the beginning of the season. I think Real Sociedad are going to have a good season and a home win on that one.
What about Real Betis, who had that fabulous win against Athletic Bilbao on the opening weekend of the season?
Yeah, Betis on their day are a really, really good team, and they had scored 5 at San Mamés. Not easy. That's going to be a home win.
Espanyol, occasionally they do produce at home. How do you think it's going against Zaragoza?
2 teams are going to have a tough season, but I think Espanyol might just edge this one, but it's going to be close.
Problematic summer for Malaga, but they seem to be flying back-to-back wins in the Liga and the Champions League qualifying. At home against Mallorca?
Yeah, a little lucky against Celta, but great in the Champions League. 2-0 win. They should get a home win, but Mallorca can be obstinate.
It's a tough place for Barcelona to go to. Osasuna away. Your thoughts?
Well, they struggled there last season, but I think they've actually started the season very strongly, Barcelona, and I think they'll get an away win here, but it won't be easy.
We've said it could be a tricky trip for Real Madrid to Khetafe. Your prediction?
I think I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Real Madrid on this one.
We've got an Andalusian derby in Granada with Sevilla, the visitors, making the short journey.
It's 9 o'clock, it's going to be boiling. I think Sevilla, a bit of confidence after their opening win and away win.
Historically, a big fixture, Valencia against Deportivo. A bit of history between this one as well.
Valencia always start the season well, then kind of give up by Christmas, get 3rd place, but I think it's going to be a home win. But Depor started positively with an away win, a home win last season, last week even. I'm warming up as well.
Well, we all are, I think. Valladolid, a newly promoted side against Levante, the surprise package of last season.
Levante might be tied after a great Europa League win against Motherwell. Valladolid might sneak that one.
And looks like one of the most attractive fixtures of the week, Atletico Madrid against Athletic Bilbao.
Monday night, 10 o'clock. What a great time to watch some football. But this is going to be one of the top fixtures of the opening round. And Atletico, I'm predicting 3rd place for them this season, which means they're going to come 7th. But I think a home win there against Athletic Bilbao, good win in the Europa League, but a few problems there off the field.
Well, that's all we've got time for on The Match this week. Join us again next week. From Tim and myself, it's adios.